party people, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy your stay. Today's video is the second video in the zodiac series. We're talking about Geminis today. Doesn't everyone love a good old Gemini? No, Geminis are great. I'm not gonna talk too much, just gonna get straight into the video. Some of the famous Geminis you may know are Johnny Depp, Naomi Campbell, John F. Kennedy, Marilyn Monroe, Angelina Jolie, good old Donald Trump, Kanye West, James Charles, Fetty Wap, Tupac, Kodak Black, Iggy Azalea, Prince, Northwest, Kendrick Lamar, Princess Nokia, and G-eazy. Geminis are great. They're typically born between May 21st and June 20th. They are air signs, and air signs are the people who want to go against the status quo. They don't really care about what other people think of them. They do when they're younger, and I think like one of their biggest goals in life is to not care and not fit in, because when they are younger, they feel very misunderstood, especially Geminis. They are such a strong force in the zodiac that people tend to misconstrue their true intentions, and they get kind of tired of that throughout life, so they just are like, fuck it, I'm gonna do me, and if you don't like it, that's on you. And that's a great way to live. I think I admired that in air signs and Geminis. They just are very don't give a fuck kind of people. They care about people's feelings, but they're gonna say what's on their mind, i.e. Kanye West.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
They are mutable, so like I talked about in the Taurus video, Tauruses are fixed signs, so they don't like change. Geminis are the exact opposite. They are mutable signs, and they kind of crave change. It's very hard for Geminis to stay in one place for a very long time, whether that be a job or a relationship or a city. They just like to start fresh and go somewhere new and do something that they've never done and meet people that they've never met. They get bored very easily, especially in relationships. Most of my Gemini friends and people that are in my life that are Geminis are not very good in long-term relationships. Not saying that they can't be, obviously, but it takes a lot of work for a Gemini to be in a monogamous relationship for a very long period of time. Geminis are ruled by the planet Mercury, which is the planet of communication and like things like writing and movement. So when Mercury is in retrograde, typically a Gemini will feel it more than any other sign, besides the sign that Mercury is in retrograde during. So like if Mercury is in retrograde during Sagittarius season, Sagittarius is gonna feel that a lot, but Geminis are ruled by Mercury, so it affects them a lot too, which sucks. But Geminis are very great communicators. They're very good people to learn from, to teach, because they just are so good with words. They're very good storytellers. They're good for writing books and journalists. I know this personally. My mom and my aunt are both Geminis, and they are incredibly intelligent women with just a great vocabulary and are very good public speakers. They just know how to get things across the way that they mean to. Maybe not on the first try if they're not in their, you know, right mind, but for the most part, they say what's on their mind, and it makes a lot of sense, and people can really relate to them in that aspect. Some of Gemini's strengths, I would say, are they're very affectionate people. They love to give love. They are very generous and just giving. They give so much, and sometimes they forget that they have to fill their cup before they can give, so they just give and give and give and feel like they don't receive what they're giving. And that's one big thing for Geminis, is like a lot of the time feel like they come up short in relationships and friendships and anywhere in life, because they expect people to be the way that they are, and most of the time people are not that way, so they get hurt easily because of that, but they're quick to move on from hurt, and they don't dwell on things, like things don't bother them for too long. They're very quick learners, and they adapt to change very well. They're very resilient people, and a lot of the time I notice that Geminis do get the short end of the stick, and like shitty things are just constantly happening to them. How the fuck? Like if I was a Gemini, I would probably just like want to give up already, but they're like that's life. Their motto is kind of just like that's life and it is what it is, so I either adapt to it and make it work for me, or I let it control me. And majority of the time they are good with just going with the flow and just like, okay, it is what it is, let's move on. But some Geminis do get caught up in things, and that can lead to negative consequences, like turning to drugs and alcohol for coping with their shitty circumstances in life that keep getting thrown their way. Some of their weaknesses are they can be pretty indecisive. It's hard for them to make decisions because they like to make sure that they're making the right choice, and like I said, shitty things are always happening to them, so they're just like, I don't really know what's gonna be, is this gonna be good or is this gonna be bad? But when they make a decision, usually they make the right one. I'd say Libras are the most indecisive, but Geminis are air signs and Libras are too, so it's really hard for them to just like stick with one thing. They can be very inconsistent. They say they'll do something and they'll do it, but they won't necessarily do it when they say they'll do it. Not all Geminis, of course, every Gemini is different, but I've noticed that a lot of Geminis can be very forgetful or try to avoid things that need to get done, but they just like to do things on their own time. They're dependable, but they're not always the most reliable people. Geminis love books. I noticed that a lot. Geminis love to read, they love to write, they love to listen to music, they like to talk a lot. They will talk your head off. They love talking with people, they love meeting new people, and they have a lot of friends. They have a lot of deep connections with people because they have a way of getting people to talk about things that they wouldn't really talk about with anyone else. I guess that's just because they're so eloquent and they know how to talk and communicate, so it's easy for people to feel like they can open up to a Gemini because Geminis just, they're so wise beyond their years, they have so much knowledge, and they're always like giving that away to people, so people just give themselves to a Gemini, if that makes sense. Some things that Geminis dislike would be staying in one place for too long. Like I said, they love change. They don't really like to be alone. The majority of the Geminis that I know are constantly in a relationship. They do not like to be single. They do not like to be by themselves. They have to be able to be with someone, to be able to talk with someone. They're always on the phone. They just like to be in constant conversation and constant relation. They don't like to just be by themselves because they just get in their mind, and Geminis don't really like to be in their mind. They don't like repetition and doing things the same way all the time or having a certain routine. They like for life to be a little bit more spontaneous and fun and adventurous rather than just doing things the same way, kind of like how Earth signs and Capricorns are more so. They like, and Virgos, they live off of routine. They like things to be the same way for the most part. Geminis, no, they like to switch it up. Geminis are known for having split personalities. Gemini gets a lot of slack for that, and it's more so not that they have two personalities, it's just that they are not really, they're kind of unpredictable. You don't know which one you're gonna get which day, so like they are very sociable and fun, so you expect that from them a lot, but then the next day they might just be like really quiet and reserved and just like in their thoughts, and then you're like, what happened, you know? But they're not really trying to be that way, it's just how they are. They can't really help it. Like no one can really be crazy bubbly all the time and ready to go, so everyone needs their resting period. But since Geminis are so like on the polar opposites of the scale, they're either like super ready and excited and fun, or they're just like really like quiet and reserved and moody and just It's either or, you don't know which one you're gonna get. Since they are air signs, they're very connected to their mind. You'll see that a lot of Geminis are really spiritual people. They're very introspective. They know a lot about themselves. It might take them a long time to get there, probably their whole life, just like everybody else, but Geminis, like, they do the work and they really want to be able to connect with people, so they try to work on themselves as much as possible. And they, over time, like, are become very open-minded people. They don't like to judge. They do judge, but they can understand people. It sucks because people have a hard time understanding them, but they are very understanding to why people are the way they are. But they're gonna judge you. Like, they're one of the most judgmental signs. I'd say Virgo is probably like the most judgmental, but Gemini for sure, they judge. Geminis are just, I don't want to say childish, but they have that inner child that just wants to come out. Like, they just want to have fun. They want to experience all that life has to offer. They don't like to have rules, like too many rules put on them, because they will rebel. And they love love. They seek love, whether that be in friendships or romantic relationships through their children and parents. They love to nurture. They love to be nurtured, but they have a hard time showing that side of themselves to people. I think they are the most expressive people when it comes to love. Once they are in love, or if they do love you, you'll know it. They'll shower you with love and affection. I feel like Geminis are here to just fix things. They're fixers. They like, especially as mothers, the women I've noticed, because my mom is a Gemini, they like to fix people, and they like, or feel like they can fix people and get people to another level that the person may have not even thought they could be, or they see two people in a fight or a disagreement, and the Gemini will typically be the mediator and try to get people to see both sides, which is kind of ironic because Geminis, when they're in their own arguments and their own fights, especially young Geminis, they don't see the other person's side at all. They are just thinking about themselves a lot and just, how could you do this to me? I'm the best thing that's ever happened to you kind of people. They grow out of it, I feel, and they just like to be there to help a lot, as much as they can. They're there to help you. They're super generous people. I don't know why they get so much slack. I love Geminis. They can be crazy now. They're wild, they're fun, they're free spirits. They like to do what they want, so you can't really hold them back in any aspect of life, and maybe that's why they get that bad rap for being wild and crazy. But you kind of need a Gemini in your life. They're just gonna make life really fun and exciting and different, and they're gonna show you things and teach you things that you've never known about this life. So get you a Gemini friend. I would never date a Gemini, but that's just me personally, because I like to be in long-term committed relationships, and Geminis, Geminis love sex. Who doesn't love sex? Geminis love sex. They're pretty good at it. They're very sensual. They like to keep it fun and exciting, so they'll do some things that you would like, damn, where are you gonna do that? They're very flirty, so that's why it can seem like they're not interested in one person, but they are. It just takes them a really long time to find like the one, if they even feel like they'll ever find the one. They have to go through a lot of partners to feel like this is the person that I'm supposed to like settle down with, and it may take years and years and years. So don't worry, Gemini, if you feel like you haven't found the one yet, or it's so hard and everyone you're trying to connect with just doesn't last. It's natural for you. It takes a while, but once they do find the one, they can be loyal, and they can, you know, settle down and just like be with that one person for the rest of their life if that's what they want to do. But they need someone who's very passionate and exciting and not boring. So they can't really be with an earth sign. Earth signs are passionate, but they can be kind of boring, and they like to be at home, and water signs I feel may be too sensitive for air signs and Geminis who like to keep it real, because water signs get their feelings hurt very easily, and they love to tell people about themselves, but they don't like to hear about themselves. Yeah, so Geminis typically need to be with other air signs or fire signs because they're very similar to fire signs. They are just wild and crazy and take risks at life and just experience things when other signs might not really be into that. Geminis really cherish their family. A lot of them have a lot of issues with their family from a young age that they have to resolve as they get older, but if they do resolve it, they cherish their family. Their family is like some of their best and closest friends. For the most part, you know, not everyone's the same, like I always say, but for the most part, I've noticed Geminis are like super big on family. Family comes first. Blood is thicker than water, similar to Tauruses. And the same way with their friends. If they have a friend, you done? The same way with their friends. If they have a friend, a true friend, they will have friends for a lifetime. If they can trust you, you will get into some fights with some Geminis, but are you even friends if you don't fight? There's no perfect relationship, but Geminis do cherish those relationships that they've made over the years. Geminis especially love their children. If you have a kid and you're a Gemini, I'm sure you can relate to this. No one is more important in a Gemini's life than their kids. They will do anything for their kids. They will die for their kids. Nothing is more important to a Gemini than their children. Geminis are really good parents. They care a lot. They're very nurturing. They can be a little smothering because they have such big personalities, especially if they have kids that are more like water and earth signs who have like a more protective and shy personality. They can be a little overbearing, but that's because they are so protective over their kids, and like they're definitely like the lion protecting her cubs. Like you cannot say anything bad about a Gemini's child or you will feel their wrath, and you don't want to feel that, trust me. When it comes to careers and money, Geminis don't really care too much about the finer things in life. They more so just want to be content and have a stable life. They're not the best with money, but for some reason they just always have it. And even if they don't have the best job, or you know, they're the hustlers. Like if they gotta do what they gotta do, and they'll do it. They'll work hard, they'll bust their ass to make sure the bills are paid, to get that money. They need to be in a job that is very different day to day. They can't be in a job that's like a boring office job, sitting at the desk, putting in files and shit like that. That's not for them. They get bored, they want to quit. So I would say like best career options for them would probably be like engineers or inventors, writers, lawyers, orators, jobs that are like constantly changing, different from day to day, fun, exciting for them, that challenges their minds, gets them thinking, gets other people thinking, keeps people on their toes. Perfect job for Gemini. But like I said, Geminis with money, they just think it's like a necessary evil. They don't really see it as something that is very important in life. They need it, but they don't really care to constantly have it, or be rich and have a mansion, and like they just like, money is money, I need it to live, but it is what it is, you know. So that's why they're not very good with it, but you know. Gemini women are definitely more expressive of the dual personality. They can be very loving and nurturing one moment, and then next moment they're very aloof and dull and just leave me alone kind of people. So in order to be with a Gemini, you're gonna have to be able to adapt to that and realize that that's how they are, and not using that as an excuse for like, if you can't handle that, don't be with one, but that's just how they are, you know. They can't really control that. Women are more cautious to getting into relationships because they need someone who can stimulate their mind, someone who's of their same intellectual level, I guess. I don't know. They can't be with just anyone. They need someone who can have deep conversations with them, who can challenge them to think in ways that they never thought before, and who is also fun, can keep them on their toes, passionate, great sex. They need that in the whole package, and it's very hard for them to find that in one person. So that's why it takes them a little bit longer. The men, they're very flirty. It takes them, I think, a lot longer to find one person. They go through a lot of women or men or whoever to find their true partner. They can be very inconsistent in relationships because of their dual personalities, so it's hard for someone to be in a relationship with a Gemini man and trust them because they're just all over the place a lot of the time, to be honest. They like their freedom, they like their space, they don't really like to be tied down. So I see a lot of Gemini men being in polyamorous relationships or like open relationships just because it's a little bit less what's the word, I really cannot think of this word. I want to say cold cut, but that's food, so no. Whatever. What is the word? Less rules, less expectations, I guess. I don't really know. I'm not in an open relationship, but I think they'd thrive in those kinds of relationships where they're free to be with themselves, be with whoever they want to be, and their partner is very secure. They need a very secure partner because Geminis are very secure in who they are, especially when they're older. When they're younger, they might have a lot of insecurities, but as they get older, they break out of those and they need someone who knows what they want, knows who they are, and loves themselves. Gemini men just need someone who is very willing to experiment in a lot of things, not just sex, but just in life, and try new things just like they like to do. They can't be with someone who is very vanilla, if you know what I mean. So yeah, overall, Geminis are great people. I hope this video changed your mind on Geminis and you guys don't just think that Geminis suck, because they totally don't. They're really awesome. They're very smart. They'll get you to think. They'll get you to learn. They'll teach you something you never knew before. They will love you hard. They'll give you great sex, and they're just good people to have in your life for sure. I would say like top 5. Get you a Gemini if you don't have one. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. If I left something out and you have any questions, leave it down below in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. Give this video a big thumbs up and hit that notification bell so that anytime I post any videos, you'll get notified and you won't miss out on the Zodiac series. Share this with your friends and your family because I'm awesome. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like these. I hope you guys enjoy your day, and I will see you again with the next Zodiac video. I think next is Cancer. So we started with Earth, moved to air, now we're moving to water. I'm so excited to do Cancer. I'll see you guys later.